Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from My Staying Gamers, and welcome. So today we're taking a look at another ship with no modifications at all. I know it's quite hard to believe. This is the Leviathan by Jura 7. Now this ship has some beautiful curves, and if you know me, you know that I love to see some curves on a ship. You can just look at the intricate sort of detail and ribbing on all components and edges of the ship, but let's actually have a look at the exterior and then we'll work our way inside. Now, one of the things that he's done with this design, he's made it quite outstanding in the fact that it looks beautiful and it does serve a secondary purpose. You can see that these thrusters are protected by this intricate sort of web of shapes that looks absolutely stunning, but at the same time you've got this sort of protection from both side directions so your thrusters aren't exposed. Now as we work our way along the side, you can see we've got a whole variety of turrets along the top. We've also got more curves cut into the side, and he's also used these ribs for a little bit more protection for the hangars so ships can leave and direct blast won't necessarily always affect the airlock doors. And then it cuts to the central hull where he's put another rib, and he's squared these areas a little bit off, but he's not using the standard sort of circular shapes here. He's using his own sort of cut of shape to circle and sort of highlight the thruster areas. Then we move on to the secondary hangar area and we just proceed back. Now this is one of my favourite parts of this ship. You can see we've got this sort of exoskeleton like format that comes. It reminds me a little bit of a rib cage. You can see the ribs come out and they curve almost like some sort of angel wings wrapping around the side. Absolutely beautiful. And they wrap around this sort of curved thruster, not really adding too much protection, but at the same time it's adding a lot of detail to the craft itself. And as we come around the back, you can see more of them curved shapes into this really beautiful sort of engine bay. Look at that, both serving for protection and just adding that extra level of beauty to this craft. Now up at the back here we actually have the control room. It's got quite a nice field of view, and it's also sank down within the hull of the ship here for a little bit more protection, but at the same time it offers a very nice variety of viewing. So we'll hover up above and we'll actually have a look at the silhouettes. And you can see the curves, how they actually contrast down the design. The blue and the white, they just really work well together. If you get two colours that contrast well, you're really on for a winning sort of design. But let's head inside. So now that we've actually had a look on the outside of the ship, the question that comes to mind, is it as functional on the inside? Is this a ship that you could use to carry your fighters, build larger ships in your own sort of survival world? Well, it is actually really flexible. So this is our first hangar bay, and I can imagine this is some sort of fighter or repair bay. We've got welders on the walls, but what's really cool about this room is it connects up with these floor sessions, so we can actually go under here, and that's an underfloor where all the pipes are accessible. So if pipes are damaged, we can quickly connect them up, and that's a really great feature because many ships don't have access to the pipes as easy as this, and it allows us to convert these rooms under here to whatever we want if we did adopt this ship as our own. So if we head up here, now the second thing you'll notice, you'll see there's a cargo container there. But if we go to one of these docks, we've got a cargo container here as well. So if we got a ship docked above us, we could come below it, get our parts out of the cargo container and start working on the ship. But if you're feeling a bit lazy, we also have the welders over here to help us out. Just a really nifty design, and the hangar doors are accessed here. So we can simply just press a door. Now, a problem I see with this is that if you have the buttons quite close to the door, it can be a situation where the door gets damaged and you're not able to access the control panel. But I'm sure you can close this from other areas around the ship. And we've got a repeat pretty much of the floor up here as well, so we can access the cargo containers up top, work on the top of the ship. Just a really nice area, well thought out, but if you do drop parts on the floor you will have to collect and clean them up manually if you're a messy builder like myself. So now we're into the airlock. You can actually see hangar B's that way, hangar A's there, nicely labelled, and we've got an airlock between the two hangars, so if one hangar's in action, maybe the fighters are being deployed out of that, we can simply lock that airlock up. So let's let me find the blue right button first. There we go. The button is locked up, and there we go. Close that door behind us. It's very cool. So this hangar is not really sort of a fighter hangar. It's more of a storage hangar from what I can tell. We've got pipes exposed on the floor, so they would be vulnerable to thruster damage. But we've got these really nice sort of hangar doors, and we have landing gears to clamp things in place. We've got the connectors up on the side of the wall, so I can only imagine that a different sort of ship would be stored in here. You see, once again, he's really accessorized these walls with curves, and he's also got a really nice camera that'll offer a great view of what's going on in the hangar for the guy who's piloting the ship, so he can open the doors and control the operations. So we've got another sign here, Command Bridge Reactor Rooms. So let's actually have a look around here. You can see there's a little bit of a gap in that step there, so we'll just hop onto there, and we can actually proceed into one of the first areas. So this first area we're actually going into is one of the main reactor rooms. We've missed quite a few areas back here, And if we head down, we can actually go into where these load of cryopods, and there's also crew quarters further on. We'll just quickly nip up there and show you. He's created these little beds out of this area, and there's also quite a large empty room here that you could produce whatever you wanted into. And I think that's a nice idea because he's continued this piping all the way through, so you can access it and change the piping as you go if you add more machines to your ship. And I think that's quite important in a survival sort of sense. So we'll head back up the staircase, and here we are. So we're on this floor, we're on reactors. We'll go up one floor and I'll show you. He's left these little accessible signs, and these update manually. So if you've got something in the refinery going on, something in the storage, it's going to update and help you out. Let's proceed up here to the next level. You can also see the oxygen tanks, and we also have battery life, and it's all quickly displayed on these screens. That's absolutely beautiful because it means you can quickly reference it without looking through menus and menus, and all that information is also displayed in the cockpit. So we'll head through here. See the jump drive, once again information displayed on it, just what you need in the survival sense, stop you having to search through all the menus. And we'll cut through here, quickly show you these rooms first. So we have like a little mini command backup room here, so we can see the damage aboard the ship as well as the reactors. We have medbay stored down here, and we have what I believe is a briefing room on this other side. We've got a projector in here. If I just pop this door open, there we go, door popped open. We've got a little projector, so I'm guessing that you could project messages and so on, and another medbay in there. But let's actually head up to the bridge. So we hover in through here, and now there's quite a few flights of stairs because you can imagine that this bridge is right on the top floor. And maybe you could make some accessory rooms off here in the future, but I don't know. Still very cool indeed. And here we are at the cockpit. So on the left, we've got readouts, reactors, battery storage, output, input, total output, and we also have the speed and location. So when you're in the cockpit here, you can just quickly reference them signs on both sides. Let's actually give it a little bit of a power up. You can see the thrust moving, and if we look to the right, you'll see our speed is increasing on the sign, as well as our location will be changing. Got quite a slow sort of acceleration. You can also look over the left and we'll see our outputs changed as well. So we'll go back to a stop, and there we go, hop off there. So I've pretty much showed you around most of this ship today. It's just a really nice sort of design, and if I spectate back out to F8, we'll see the ship over here in the distance, and from a distance this thing is beautiful. So to bring this video to a close, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. A link to this ship is going to be in the description. It's a beautiful craft, and it might be even perfect for your fleet, or if not, maybe it's inspired you to build your own sort of carrier platform. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you